Question: what would you do if you have a family of three, a family of 3 days left to payday with all the items that you see on the thumbnail, and I'll go over the items in a minute, back in 30. Hi, this is Jan from New York City, and my channel name is Jan from New York City Saves Money. Today, we're just going to get downright serious. There's a real problem out there today. Some people think it just kind of went away because of SNAP benefits, or they see images of people loading up food in boxes, and they're thinking, oh, well, that's good. Everything's getting a lot better. Well, actually, I did a little research, and this video is on the serious side, and if you're not in the mood of this, then, then have a wonderful, blessed day, and I hope to see you again in the future. But if you want to hear a few facts that are startling facts, they're right here in America. 26 million people live with food insecurity. 26 million people. This was a statistic that was approximately at the end of 2020. If you do not know what food insecurity is, food insecurity, by definition, okay, this is according to a Google search, food insecurity, as by definition, is the disruption of food intake or eating patterns because of lack of money or other resources. So these situations are real, and they are still ongoing. And boy, do I wish I had a magic wand and could just like snap my finger and make it go away. But every once in a while, when we're like, complaining, oh, we don't have this and I can't get what I want, think about some of the folks who just can't even really like eat because things have changed in their life, job interruptions or inability to gain access to food resources. Some of the resources may be there, but that person or persons or family, for whatever the reason, can't get to the resource because maybe they lost their way of getting there, their transportation. And it's ironic that the people that live in rural areas, the place where many of our foods come from, have difficulty gaining access. Now, I had written down, and funny, now that I'm recording, I can't find the list that I wrote down of everything you see on the thumbnail, but I'm going to try to remember. See if you could stretch these items to 3 days, 3 people, meaning 2 adults and 1 child. Or it could be 1 adult and 2 children, whatever way you want to flip it. Okay. 1 is a box of complete pancake mix. 1 is a quarter jar, about a quarter jar's worth of instant coffee. 1 is a quarter of a box of oatmeal. Even though the box looks tall, there's only maybe about a quarter to a half a box of instant, not instant, but you just pour water over it and wait a couple of minutes, easy oatmeal. The other one is an apple. The other one is an orange, a tiny can of corn, and a can of chickpeas, plus 1 packet of tuna creations. If you can remember all that, good for you. If not, just when you're finished with the video, go look on the thumbnail and the complete picture is there. What would you do in terms of making meals? Now, it sounds like a lot. And to some people, what I just mentioned sounds like an amazing a lot. Okay. But to most people, for 3 people times 3 meals times 3 days, it's really not that much. Don't let the packaging fool you because, like I said, it's in the amounts. Okay, so food insecurity is a real problem that's existing. Thanks for sticking around, whoever did. Now, speaking of thank you, I would like to thank everyone on this platform in any way, shape, manner, or form that tries to help out with budget tips, how to spend, very little amounts of money at the grocery store to make ends meet. Kudos to you. I wish I knew every single one of you, but I do not. That is just impossible. But I want to thank you anyway. However, there are two specific people that I will point out, and I have pointed them out in the past because there's a good reason. There's a good reason. Okay, one is Mornings with Granny. She has a huge agenda about helping out people at food banks, food pantries, and just reminds us all the time in her sweet way that we could make a difference in someone else's life in that area. And she shows a lot of good stuff. That's one person. The other person is the Rhoda Stone channel. I know I mentioned her several times, and of course with good reason, because she shows affordable, realistic food. And she shows a great way to make it look so yummy and make yourself feel so special about it. So head on over, please, to both of those channels. And I take my invisible hat off to you ladies. Thank you so much. And everyone that's helpful in that area, I really, really appreciate you. I really, really do. But 26 million people, nonetheless, right now, about 26 million Americans have experienced hunger, and households with children have a higher risk of food insecurity. And by the way, just to let you know, no community here in America is not vulnerable, okay? We are all vulnerable to this happening. I am concerned also, in addition to children going hungry, I'm concerned about anybody going hungry. And I don't mean, hungry like, I wish I had, a fast food hamburger, and then you get it and you're done. I'm talking about like hunger where your stomach hurts because you haven't eaten in a couple of days kind of hunger. I'm talking about senior citizens who don't speak up enough, that may be too proud to tell their family that they're hurting. This is what I'm asking anyone that's interested to do. Okay, if you are interested, I have a few strong suggestions about it. Just get my notes straight. Okay, notes or no notes, I can tell you this. Check in on the elderly. Check with your neighbor. Do a random act of kindness without it looking like you're being like a charity giver. Do it with dignity and grace. If you love to cook and bake and you have a neighbor that you know is hurting, don't let them know, I'm handing you a handout. Knock on their door. Give them a casserole. Give them that baked ziti that you have. It may not cure the problem, but it sure can help. It can lift someone's spirit to know that there's people out there that care. Do things that you can do. Do what you can do. If everybody does a little bit of a good thing in great numbers, wow, look at the exponential results. A little bit goes far, one can at a time. And speaking of food banks and speaking of cans, this is what they're really looking for. Healthy cereals and oatmeal. This is according to research, not according to Janet, okay? According to research that Janet checked. They're looking for healthy cereals and oatmeal, bags of potatoes and apples, kids snack type items like juice boxes, individual apple sauces, toilet paper, diapers/baby wipes, jars and pouches of baby food, personal care hygiene products like sanitary pads, toiletries like toothpaste and toothbrushes, shampoos, and deodorants. And this is an interesting thing to note upon the research. Note, many food banks run low on shelf-stable milk and coffee. These are two fast-going items that fly off the shelves, I understand, from the research. And it seems logical. What they seem to get a lot of, now this is not saying don't send it, but what they seem to get a lot of are cans of baked beans and pasta, okay? So those are commonly donated. But please, if you're going to donate, First, check with your specific local food bank first. Ask them plainly, what do you need? What does this particular food bank need? But I could tell you this, the top thing that they can use are monetary donations. Okay. Monetary donations go far. Doesn't have to be huge. Again, let's go back to the exponential effect. A lot of people giving a little sure beats one or two people giving a couple. So if everybody can do their absolutely best, have you ever been insecure? How are you handling it? Has life changed for many people in the last year and a half? Yeah. And even though certain things are on the move, certain things are still not really completely on the move, if you know what I mean. Not getting into political, but no one is immune to food insecurity. And it is a real problem about inaccessibility. Some people have the resources, but what if you don't have a car? What if you can't afford the gas? This is why it's really important to stay active, stay aware, and check in on friends, family, and loved ones. Senior citizens oftentimes are too proud to say a word. The resources are there. Take full advantage and put the pride on the shelf. Pride does not feed a hungry stomach. Put it away. You'll get better. Things will get better. But you have to start somewhere. And I'm asking anyone who can to donate whatever you can, whether it's your time as a volunteer, whether it's money to your favorite organization. There are a couple of organizations. A Covenant House is great. Feeding America is a good one. They're all good. So check with your locals, do what you can. And that's the point of today's message. While we talk about stockpiling for ourselves, let's take a minute and include some of that stockpile for someone else. In the meantime, this has been Jan from New York City. Thank you so much for viewing. Why? Because I really do appreciate who? You. Don't forget to come back in the future for some more ideas, tips, and tricks with saving and helping. Have an amazing, amazing day. Stay happy now. Take good care now. Bye-bye.